He walked into the stockyard with a notebook in his hand. Chicago smoke and factory smoke, the smell across the land. Workers losing fingers, rats in every crate. He wrote it all in sentences that you could almost taste. They thought he'd write a pamphlet no one'd ever read, but Sinclair turned those pages into something like a plea. I aimed at the public's heart, he'd later say, and by accident I hit their stomachs along the way. Not a sword, not a loud parade, just words on a page and the truth they laid. Stories plus evidence, line after line, enough to make a country say this isn't fine. Muckrakers with their flashlight pens, shining into corners no one mentioned then. And narrative non-fiction with receipts to show, turning hidden wounds into something we all know. From the ink on the page to the laws that change, they prove that a story can rearrange what the powerful say is just the way it's always been. Muckrakers and mental friends. Ida B. Wells bought a train ticket, got thrown from her seat, wrote every detail down with a pulse that wouldn't retreat. And when lynching stole her friends, they told her, let it lie. Instead she chased the records, asked whose stories get to die. She gathered lists and headlines, names you wouldn't know, track false crimes used as cover when the mobs took control. In pamphlets and in speeches, she dared to say their names. Mob rule was not justice, just terror in a frame. She didn't have a hashtag, just a printing press, facts and grief and courage in a simple dress. Every statistic, every quote she found was a light in the darkness of a dangerous town. Muckrakers with their flashlight pens, shining into stories where the trail had been bent. Narrative non-fiction with dates and names, showing how private violence props up public games. From the ink on the page to a conscience stirred, they changed what a whole generation heard. When the headlines lied, they wrote again. Muckrakers and digital friends. Ida Tarbell watched her father's small town oil rig fall, crushed beneath the shadow of a trust that owned it all. She dug through dusty ledgers, backroom secret deals, turned contracts into chapters you could feel like turning wheels. Page by page she mapped the ways one giant bent the rules. Standard Oil looked like a king, she showed it was a tilted pool. A series hit the papers, people saw the scheme. Soon the courts and Congress caught up with the theme. From the meat on your plate to the laws on the books, from the rail car seats to the ways a city looks. Someone asked who benefits and where do we see proof, then wove those answers in a story you can't ignore as just one view. Today it's leak files, data dumps, podcasts in your ear, a journalist with spreadsheets digging through a smear. Same old question echoing in every midnight edit. Can I show the pattern so they can't just forget it? Muckrakers with their flashlight pens, from Sinclair's lines to the ones who write now and then. Narrative non-fiction with records to check, following the money, the power, the wreck. From the ink on the page to the hearings called, to the signs in the streets, to the statues hauled. When someone says it's nothing, just don't look too close, my friend. They're the ones who open up the lens. A story that makes the room fall still. Ask who counted, who compared, who climbed the paper hill. Sometimes the bravest thing you do is hold a simple pen and tell the truth so clearly they can't bury it again.